Hey, what's up guys? This is Lucas here. So today I will be taking you through some very good times that I got recently. 3 low 4-second solves. Those, typically aren't very common, but I got them, within the span of a couple days or something. It was pretty crazy. So I have the reconstructions pulled up. I'll put them in the description so you can follow along. And yeah, so sorry I didn't get them on film, but I thought this would be a cool video still for me to kind of walk you through my thought process. And by the way, I'll try to keep this video as, uncut as possible so that you can, kind of process everything that I'm thinking, basically. Okay, so the first scramble is the 4.21. So right off the bat, I see this square, and these typically aren't very common. Whenever you see a square like this, that typically means X cross. And fortunately, the corresponding edge for the 2x2x2 is right here. So this is a one move 2x2x2, and that's extremely rare. So right off the bat, I'm looking at like a 4 or 5 second solve, pretty much guaranteed. You really need to take advantage of these scrambles. So I think the obvious first move to do would be a D prime to complete this. And then the corresponding edge piece, or the remaining corner piece, remaining cross pieces, the orange and blue are right here. So when I do that D prime, I'll be able to move the orange over and complete these 2 and 3 moves. Now I want to step back for a second. So essentially, whenever I have such an easy cross and an X cross, I want to look into my second pair. And right here I see this blue-orange pair right here. And this one's already connected, so usually that means it'll either stay connected or maybe like one piece will be affected. In this case, after the D prime move, you'll see that once we move this orange cross piece over, this orange-blue edge piece won't be affected. So we just need to track this corner during inspection, and it'll end up right here after we complete these moves. So I went right into this pair afterward, and this is basically where I stopped planning. So I had to, this was really my first glance at the cube right around here, and obviously I saw this green-orange pair, so I went right into that directly after, no pause. And then my last pair is right here. Still a pretty good pair. And what I'm noticing as well right here, it'll be set up nicely once I do a rotation like this, but I'm also noticing there's an oriented yellow edge right here. So that'll probably give me an opportunity for a sledgehammer. So that's one thing that I'm also considering at the moment. So I insert this pair, rotate over, and as I'm forming these, my thoughts were correct, that I'll be able to orient all of my edges with a sledgehammer. If this corner was twisted, where the yellow is in the back, then I would do VLS, but in this case, a sledgehammer is fine. And fortunately, I get an H ZBLO that I know. So this one is pretty easy to recognize. So you've got all of the edges permuted, and this diagonal pattern right here on both sides. And that is a F triple sexy F prime ZBLO. So I went right into that, spam TPS, and completed with a U prime. So that solve was roughly 10.5 TPS. So pretty good, but a 4.21. Before I continue with the other 2 solves, I wanted to say that this video is sponsored by Skillshare. As I'm sure many of you already know, Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people like you guys. I am a huge proponent of self-teaching new skills, and Skillshare definitely opens the door to that process. The website includes a wide variety of classes ranging from illustration to web development classes, all of which are extremely manageable time-wise. I know over quarantine that I wanted to explore something different, so I picked up photo editing with Lightroom. Fortunately, Skillshare offers a Fundamentals of Photo Editing class taught by New York photographer Justin Bridges. And that class teaches Lightroom as well, which is really great. But keep in mind that there are plenty of other options out there. Most of you would definitely be interested in the coding and cubing classes that are offered. So less than $10 per month with an annual subscription, Skillshare is definitely worth a try. It's curated specifically for learning, meaning that there are no ads and new premium classes are constantly being added, so you can continue your learning process. In fact, I encourage all of you to join for a free trial of premium membership. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a free trial of premium membership. Be sure to do so that you can explore your creativity. Thanks. Alright, so here is the next solve. This one is a 4.14, so we're getting closer to sub 4. But yeah, I'll go ahead and do the scramble. Okay. So this one is actually pretty funny. So this was one of my first few solves of the day, and I wasn't even using my main. Probably wasn't even that warmed up either. So I was really frustrated with this one, and you'll see why. The move count is very low. It really should have been like a mid 3, and if I was at my best, like low 3. I don't know about a 2, but it was just incredibly easy. So what you'll see is, so right off the bat, it doesn't appear that easy, but there is this pair already formed, the green-red, and you'll notice that the red cross piece is right here, so that makes for a very easy insertion, like that. And actually we can complete the other cross pieces while doing that insertion, so it ends up being a very good start. You also notice that okay, so we have this blue cross piece right here and this green cross piece. So once we place those down to solve them relatively to each other, we can move the orange over. But you'll also see that once we do the D prime to put the orange cross piece in, this pair right here will form, and that one will be preserved after we complete the X cross as well. So that's 2 free pairs right off the bat. I'm not sure if I saw the easy setup to the first or to the second pair. I think usually I would, but maybe since I was warming up, I didn't have too much, or didn't put too much effort into my planning. But yeah, I think I would typically see that. So we'll go ahead and do the cross, so F, D prime, F. And then notice as we finish in these 3 off, we can do the RUR to make the X cross, and then go straight into this free pair. And at this point, I noticed that there aren't any edges oriented, but the cases aren't too difficult. We probably have a good pseudo-slotting opportunity, but I wasn't feeling that risky, I guess. So I put in the pair, and I went right for the 2-gen pair, so the blue-red. So I rotated over, did that one. Again, this is really straightforward, but you'll see why it's really easy after this. And then I went into this, kind of beginner's OLL, beginner's F2L algorithm. This one orients some edges, so some people would do like something algorithmic right here, maybe like a column to put it in, like where you do a U and then R prime. I think this is E prime, not sure. But nah, I wanted to orient some edges on top, so I did the standard alg. And then at this point, you'll notice there's a lot of blocks forming. And right here, I have these two 2x1s, and the corner orientation, corner permutation means that I'll get a skip with these 2 blocks. So you see opposite, opposite, and then these 2 blocks. So I recognize the skip, And here's where I basically fumbled the cube. So as I was doing my OLO, it's a little awkward to execute from the back. You kind of have to do like a thumb move, or at least I do. And I think at this point when I had to pull down for the R, the last wide R move, I might have fumbled the cube. Just something didn't go smoothly. And then the AUF is also a U, which is kind of awkward. But it ended up being a 414. But again, it was let's see, 34 STM. So the TPS ended up being like mid 8. So yeah, the scramble was really easy. The solve was kind of meh, but still a 414, which is okay. Alright, so for the last solve, this was a 4.10. This is probably the most impressive solve, not just because of time, but also solution. There was a double X cross, so this might be a little more interesting, I guess. So you'll notice right off the bat, we have this square once again, and as I said earlier, whenever I have a square, particularly on white, that means like pretty much an automatic 5. And fortunately, all of the cross pieces are oriented from this position, so the cross is going to be really easy. Like you'll see from this point, we can put the blue down and then insert the red, move back. But since I have this square, I kind of need to adapt my strategy. So I do notice that the edge is right here, so that would actually be a very easy X cross to do, where you do R prime, D prime, R, and then insert this edge piece and move back. But again, that's a little too easy still, because look at this red-blue pair right here. You'll see that it's connected. So before I move the red piece down, what I can do is move the blue-red edge piece over, so that when I bring it back down, it'll be in the middle layer. And then I just have to insert this corner for double X cross. So when I do R prime, D prime, U prime, R, I have this corner in place and this edge in place. And then I just need to insert this edge piece and this corner piece. So that's exactly what I did. I went for the edge piece first, and then the corner piece next. It's really not that complicated, but it's still a double X cross nevertheless, so always try to take advantage of what the scramble gives you. And then from this point, I didn't really plan anything after. Usually I would go for, I think I would go for these typically, but maybe I saw that, or maybe I didn't like reason properly that this would be the orange blue, I don't know. I think I went for whatever I saw first, which was the green-red pair, and it ended up working out, as you'll see. So I did a U, and then L prime, U prime, L. And at this point, two things. A lot of cubers would rotate and then insert, rotate to put red in front, but that leaves you with a nasty back slot for last pair. What I would prefer is to keep the last slot in front, so I can just use R and U moves, which is what I did. And also, I think, I don't know, intuitively, I just had a feeling that rotating back and doing L, U2, L prime, for some reason, I really don't know. I think I saw that there's this block here, and maybe doing less quarter turns would help preserve it. Not sure. So instead of doing U prime, L, U prime, L prime, I did L, U2, L prime. And I guess, you know, whatever I thought worked out, because there is an extra corner on top. And with this block, I pretty much am guaranteed an easy winner variation. In this case, it was just a simple R, U prime, R prime. So I finished off F2L, got the skip, and then went right into T-perm, executed that fast in 4.1. So this one was 44 STM, which means around 11 TPS. So pretty good solve, especially for a low 4. But yeah, that's really all I have for you today, just 3 low 4s. Let me know in the comments if you like these types of reconstructions. I always like to see people's really good times, so maybe you enjoyed them too. I tried the uncut style. We'll see what you think of it. I think it's all right, maybe a little long-winded, but I think it's fine for this video. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.